Hey everybody, and welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and overview of this new video card from MSI. The GPU that's featured is AMD's new Radeon R9 280X, and this happens to be MSI's overclocked Twin Frozr Gaming Edition. Let's start off with a closer look at the retail box. So if you're not familiar with the R9 series of video cards, this is just a brand new series of cards from AMD. They've announced the Radeon R7 and R9. The R9 is the upper tier of those cards. This is a 280X, so this is actually based on the same ASIC as the previous generation 7970. So if you remember, that card was the flagship when it came out. Now you can get it in a much more affordable package, and this is kind of a juiced up and overclocked version. This is the OC edition, so it runs at a boost clock of 1050 megahertz as compared to the standard R9 280X, which runs at a boost clock of 1000 megahertz. Also, flipping around to the back, we have some additional information. You do have access to the MSI gaming app, which you can use to tune and play your games. That's pretty helpful. On the right, we have a little bit more information on the Twin Frozr 4 Advanced Thermal Design. So this is MSI's customized cooler, and compared to the reference design, it is going to run cooler since MSI has put some work into it. To the right of that, you can see some of the features for this card. So of course, the 3 GB frame buffer of GDDR5 memory running at 6000 megahertz effectively is going to be very fast, and as a result, it's also the reason that MSI and AMD are gearing this card towards gaming at 1080p and 1440p gaming resolutions. You also get PCI Express Gen 3 support, although it is backwards compatible with PCI Express Gen 2. GCN architecture, again, that same architecture that was used in the 7000 series, but they have refreshed it here for the R7 and R9 series. You also have compatibility with several different APIs, or application program interfaces. So DirectX 11.2 you have support for. You also have support for OpenGL 4.2, as well as AMD's Mantle. So games that are designed using the Mantle API, this one can take advantage of that to accelerate those games. So particularly if you're going to be playing console ports, those types of games, or games that are developed along with Mantle, such as Battlefield 4, is going to be an excellent, excellent card to handle that with. You also get Crossfire support, as well as some of AMD's features that they've had from the 7000 series, such as Power Tune and Zero Core, which are some energy-saving features. Minimum system requirements are listed right there. And then moving down here to the lower left, we have military class 4 components, so high conductive caps, solid capacitors used throughout the board. That's going to add to the longevity and lifespan of the card, as well as aid in overclocking. And then you also have Predator, which I'm not even sure what that is. That's located right there. Predator is a built-in screen and video capturing tool named Predator, which captures your screen and still images or videos, and allows you to capture and record your coolest, goofiest, and most awesome gaming moments on your PC. Taking a look inside the box, we have an extra cardboard packet here, which I'm guessing is going to contain our accessories. So a quick user's guide. If you're not familiar with how to install a graphics card, you can check that out. You can also reference our How to Build a Computer series on Newegg TV. I've heard it's quite handy for that sort of thing. You get a PCI Express power adapter. So this is going to take a 6-pin PCI Express connector and adapt it to an 8-pin. You do want to make sure that your power supply has the amount of power required for this card, which was probably listed on the box and I just glossed over. 500 watts or greater. So again, make sure you've got that. Oh, they've even listed Crossfire configuration, 1000 watts or greater power supply if you're going to go for 2 of these cards and use a Crossfire configuration. So as long as your power supply has that, and I would recommend going a bit beyond it just so you have some headroom, you can use that adapter. Or of course, if your power supply has the adapters built in already, just go ahead and use those. You've also got a 2 Molex to 6-pin power adapter as well. Moving right along, we have this little adapter guy, which is handy to have. Mini DisplayPort to standard DisplayPort. So if you don't have native mini DisplayPort support, right out of the box, you can use that adapt and use a regular DisplayPort cable. This is a Crossfire bridge, so for a 2-way Crossfire configuration, you can use that. It's flexible, so it's going to match up with various configurations of your motherboards and card spacing. And then you also get a DVI to VGA adapter, which you should keep if you are going to be using a VGA monitor. And right here you have your driver disk. Chances are there's going to be updated versions of these drivers available, so head over to the AMD website to download those. You can also go to MSI's website to download their software, and you can use the disk as a coaster. And now on to the video card itself. As you can see, MSI is going with a red and black color scheme for this particular card. Again, you can see the custom twin Frozr shroud and cooling system on the top right there. I'm going to give a quick measurement since that's always important, and this is pretty arbitrary for you guys since it's maybe that difficult to see. We're going a bit beyond 10.5 inches measured from the bracket. I'll call it 10 5/8, but give yourself maybe a little bit more space than that just so you have some room on that end when you're installing everything. Two 95mm fans right there. These are MSI's own special design for the fans, so those are going to be downward firing. It's going to be pushing air down over the aluminum fin array that you can see beneath those. Heat dissipation from the GPU is going to be aided by 4 6mm heat pipes that you can see on that side. Those are going in and drawing heat from directly above the GPU. And then there's a 5th 8mm heat pipe that you can see on that end, also drawing heat away and into the aluminum fins. Another cool feature about this card, if you see up by the bracket right here, this is kind of a really secure point of the card since this is where it's going to be mounted to the case, but you see this black metal piece coming. This actually extends out and then goes underneath the card, and it's very difficult to actually show you the whole thing. I'm not going to be disassembling this card today, but it gives you some metal going along the edge of the card right here. You can actually see it around on this side coming over here. So it's actually doing a couple different things. One is it's providing some extra rigidity to the card, so when it's installed you're not going to have as much droopage since the PCB itself doesn't have quite enough strength to hold up the weight of the card and the cooling solution. Also, it's directly making contact with some of the components on the board, specifically the power delivery components, and that's going to help keep those cool and wick a bit of the heat off of them. As far as power requirements, again, 6-pin plus 8-pin PCI Express power connectors are required for this card. Make sure you have both of those plugged in before you go about booting up and whatnot, otherwise you probably won't get a display. There is a little switch right here. This is again a throwback from the 7970. This is a dual BIOS switch, so you have a couple VBIOSes or VBIOSes or however you want to say that. In this card, you can use that switch to jump back and forth between the two of them. So it gives you a backup in case one of them fails, or if you want to mess around with the VBIOS configurations, you can do so with a bit more confidence, knowing that you can always switch back over to another one, or you can store stock and overclocking configurations on one or another and that sort of thing. You do have crossfire fingers on this card. With the R7 and R9 series, there are some more brand new GPUs, and then there's some that are carryovers from the last generation that have been refined and updated. Since this is a 7970 that has been refined and updated, we still have crossfire fingers. One of the features of, for instance, the R9 290X, which is the Hawaii codename GPU, is that you actually can have crossfire without need for a crossfire bridge, which is kind of a cool feature unless you're really a big fan of crossfire bridges. But anyway, this card still does require crossfire bridges if you're going to be doing a 2 or 3 or 4-way crossfire configuration, so you got a couple crossfire fingers right there. And then down here on the bottom, again protected by a bit of MSI logoed plastic cover, you have your PCI Express slot. It's PCI Express Gen 3, again backwards compatible with Gen 2, so don't worry if you've got an older system, you're still going to get a lot of performance out of this card. It's usually in the 1 to 2% range of difference going from PCI Express Gen 2 to Gen 3 with a card like this. Apart from that, again, 3 GB of memory in this card, so it's going to be very well suited for playing video games at higher resolution. So 1080 and beyond. 1440 is the actual number that AMD is posting for this particular card. There's a piece of plastic covering the MSI gaming logo, which I'm going to pull off because I like to. There, now it's shinier. So again, 3 GB GDDR5 memory running at 6,000 Hz effective speed. That is on a 384-bit bus. You also have 2048 stream processors in the GPU itself, 128 texture units, 32 raster units, and then again a boost clock of 1050 MHz, which is 50 MHz higher than the reference design for the R9 280X. And of course, you do have the option to overclock it beyond that. If you are interested, the MSI Afterburner software is a fantastic option for doing that sort of thing. PCB here at the back is pretty much black. I was looking at it and trying to think if it's black or maybe a very, very, very dark brown, but honestly, particularly when it's in a case, it's pretty much going to be black if you're looking straight at it. And then we'll finish over on this side with the video outs, and they again are covered with some protective things to keep them from getting dusty and whatnot while it's in shipping. This HDMI one is really in there. Okay, so you got a couple mini display ports. Again, you can use that adapter for one of those. If you need more adapters, you can find them on Newegg. You've also got an HDMI out right there, and finally a dual link DVI out, which also has analog connection points as well, so you can use that DVI to VGA adapter if you want to. And that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Once again, we've been taking a closer look at the MSI Twin Frozr Gaming Edition of the AMD R9 280X GPU. I'm Paul with Newegg TV. If you enjoyed today's video, you can find more just like it on our Newegg TV YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video enjoyable or useful or entertaining, or just if you like hitting buttons, because it's fun sometimes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.